Welcome back here to DGOT, the Instant Reactions. We are back, baby. I have never seen any of these kind of movies. I went into this one pretty blind, and me and Dustin do this a lot. We just see movies that we don't know much about them, but we'll just go check them out and we'll instant react to them. We're taking on 2025's, but I think it was made in 23 according to IMDb. It's listed as 23, but we're taking on the Toxic Avenger. I don't know much about these movies at all. I know Lloyd Kaufman is involved with it. He was at Spooky Empire back in June. Uh, I know we had Catherine Corcoran on. She worked with him in the past as well in these trauma movies or whatever they're called. I don't know much about him, but when I saw this movie, I thought it had its pros and cons. Like there were some things I enjoyed, some things I didn't. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was just a fine little low budget, silly movie.
Yeah. I mean, this movie was much like elevators. They have their ups and downs. Um, I thought that I too I'm aware of the Toxic Avenger, like the first one that came out, and I think it was '84 or something like that. Like I'm aware of it, but I've never seen it. I don't know the lore. I don't know the story. I don't know anything about it. I'm just aware of it. But like you said, if there's one thing that we're going to do, it's support cinema. And if there's two things I'm going to make sure or if there's one thing I'm going to make sure that I do while I support cinema, it's support low budget indie cinema. Um, so I'm going to check it out. And I'm probably going to come across as a hypocrite during this episode because this movie's probably it's on the same, it's on par with Screamboat, which I've crapped on numerous times this year. But I enjoyed it so much more. It's better. It's just better. The the silliness, the hokiness, it worked better. The cast, I mean, good night. The cast. There's some big names in this movie,
Yeah,
and some of the humor missed for me. Like some of it was like, okay, like it landed when you did this type of thing before, but let's move on. Let's try something else that's funny. So I think which I guess I'm getting into it already, but I thought it was fine. I had fun with it.
yeah. I'll go. Let's just get into our positives. I don't know if we're going to talk that long tonight because I don't. I just don't know. But positives, I thought there were some big names: Peter Dinklage, Kevin Bacon. Jacob Chamberlain's low key been in a lot of stuff. He was in The Life of Chuck earlier this year, which I know you and I were both big fans of.
Yep.
Taylor Page, you pointed her out to me. She was in Zola, A24 movie. Uh, Shock it or no one, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but I am aware of Peter Dinklage. But yeah, I really enjoyed the cast. There were
Elijah Wood.
moments. Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the other Toxic Avenger movies, but like he looked just like Penguin, right?
I had that thought. I don't know if the character is
Was supposed to, but it looked
supposed
just
to
like it.
or if it did because we hadn't seen that version of the penguin like Danny DeVito's penguin when the first Toxic Avenger came out. But I don't know if that's what the character looked like in the first one. But I got that vibe too. I was like, dang, Elijah Wood would kind of make a good penguin.
I mean, the makeup was good. That's one thing I'll definitely touch on. Special effects, the makeup, all looked really good for the most part. There were some CGI moments that weren't the best, but there were some good special effects as well. I think so, anyways. Good kills, good gore. That radioactive mop, that's a hell of a weapon. I'd like to have that one in my hands. If I'm going into battle, that's probably the weapon. I'm taking that over Jason's machete. I tell you what,
Oh, for sure.
that thing did some damage on people. I mean, we saw dudes getting their buttholes ripped out, colons ripped out. Wasn't expecting that at all. I mean, he's just a cool like superhero, or is it an anti-hero? Like, what is it? Like, is it anti-hero, superhero?
I think he's an anti-hero because I mean he was killing folks like
But he was killing bad people though, so it's like Dexter vibes, right?
yeah, yeah.
What are some of your positives? I mean, and there was some humor too. Like I laughed quite a bit.
Yeah, the humor was good. It's the biggest positive. Is if you're going to make a movie like this, the humor has to land, and it did for the most part. Right off the jump, when uh, like the way that they describe the places, like the desolate wasteland or whatever, the spooky yonder woods. I thought that stuff was funny, and we get that
It
throughout.
was.
Um, and I thought there was one. So when JJ's boss or whatever before he gets killed, we're looking around his office. There's an award on the wall that says like really good journalism award or something like that. I thought that was funny. Like there's some things. The crawl on the news broadcast was pretty funny. So like a lot of the humor, it was just good. Um, I thought that there was a lot of creativity in the kills.
Yeah.
Um, I, I don't really think the effects look that good, but I can forgive it because I don't know what the budget was on this, but I can't imagine it was too high, especially after they paid the cast because, like we've already said, the cast was. I mean, there's some names in this movie, so I can forgive the effects because there were creative kills. Um, you mentioned Taylor Jordan, like that was her name, right? Yeah. She's not only in Zola, she is Zola, and I just bought
Taylor Page,
Taylor Page. You know, where did I get Jordan? But I just
second
bought the
greatest
movie.
basketball player of all time. Go ahead.
I just bought Zola on Blu-ray. Like I got it in the mail yesterday or day before, and then I go see this movie, and I was like, "Hey, she looks really familiar." Oh, well, that is Zola. So that was just cool. The A24 nerd in me like that. Um, I thought the story was fine. Like it's this guy who's just trying to do right. He's trying to live. His kid, his stepkid, has no one. He's trying his best to be involved in the kid's life, even though the kid's kind of standoffish. And then it's feel good in the end. They're the happy family. Uh, Good prevails over evil. I thought the story was fine. Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much the most of the positives is that the comedy was pretty good for the most part. The cast was incredible, and the story was solid. I will say that there were three guys on the same row as me in the theater, and they laughed the entire time. They were baked out of their minds. But I will say that if you partake in the devil's lettuce, I do not. But if you do, you'll probably love this movie
Oh
because
yeah,
those guys loved it.
yeah. I was chatting with fan of the show, Meg Stone, and she went and saw. She sent me a reel actually about uh like all the money that this movie is making is like going like they're like using some of it to like the profits to pay other people's medical bills. So that was really cool. That's why I wanted to support this movie so bad because I'm not at an AMC right now. I had to pay for this damn movie, but anywho, I'm helping people pay their medical bills, so I'll take
And,
that.
and I will say that the a lot of the commentary was solid. This movie, honestly, I had the thought last night when I was leaving the theater. This movie's like if Repo the Genetic Opera took place in Bo's neighborhood from Bo is Afraid. Like, because his neighborhood that's a wild neighborhood.
It
Uh,
was a wild neighborhood.
and so I was like, man, this is like if that took place there, but without the nonstop annoying singing. So there's some fun to be had with this movie for sure. And knowing that, like, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a serious issue. Like Peter Dinklage's character, what's his name again? We get that pulled back up. Sorry about that.
Wade,
Winston,
Winston,
Winston Toxie, the hero is
Wade's
what
the
he called.
kid, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Wade is the kid. Yep. Winston, he's just this guy. He's working at this big company, and his insurance doesn't pay for this brain issues he's having. Shout out to health insurance. Uh, I don't know. It saved me a lot of money, but it's also terrible for a lot of people. But it's a real issue. Like in Saw 6 touched on this as well a long time ago. But yeah, I mean it was a serious topic that it touched on, which I can appreciate, and it was lighthearted. Like I don't know, silly. It approached it in a silly way, which was fine too.
Yeah. This speaking of the cast though, Wade, the kid that played Wade, um, he's also no stranger to the show. He was in Doctor Sleep,
Yeah,
Doctor Snooze Fest. But while I'm watching, I was like, man, he looks familiar, and I looked at his IMDb page. It's crazy. That's Jack from. I know you probably haven't seen it, but A24 had a movie with Brie Larson called Room, and it's just talk about a heartbreaking story. But he's the kid in Room. He's like grown
I
up, 10 years older. It's crazy.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie. But I've seen Before I Wake. I think that movie's got Thomas Jane in it. Yep, and Kate Bosworth. Solid little movie. It wasn't my favorite, but it was okay. Doctor Sleep, yeah, like we mentioned, and Life of Chuck. I love Life of Chuck. That's a great movie.
Well,
Speaking,
he was also in a show that pisses me off to this day. They got canceled when it did, called The Last Man on Earth. Fox, you're forever on my bad list for canceling that show the way you did, but that's neither here nor there. Needed
yeah,
just
we
one
know
more season.
we know Dustin loves TV shows these days.
I think that's what soured me is they canceled the Last Man on Earth on such a frustrating cliffhanger that I just can't. I don't like TV anymore.
Yeah, that and Bates Motel just killed it for him. He's like, never again. I'm never watching a television program again. Let's just jump into our negatives. To me, the negatives. I'm not going to like hate on like budget or effects issues really or story issues because it's not a serious movie. And like you mentioned that as well to me, it's not a movie that takes itself seriously. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to criticize that. To me, for what this movie is, it should have been like 20 to 30 minutes shorter. Like it should have just leaned into Wade and Winston's story, what their problem is with Taylor Page's character JJ. They should have just focused on them and had silly kills, silly gore, heroic moments. Get Kevin Bacon involved in there, his assistant. Just go all out with it and just trim it up by 30 minutes because I did feel like it just drug for a lot of it.
Hmm.
Considering what the subject is and what the movie is, I think it would have just been better off shorter and just more action packed and silly and goofy.
It's fair.
Because it
I
felt like there were big gaps between the kills and Toxie the hero showing up and all. It just drug to me.
That's fair. I didn't really have that criticism. I thought the runtime. I didn't feel the runtime at all. But I can see what you mean for sure.
What's your negatives? That's really my only negatives, and it's just not a movie that I'm just going to seek out either.
Yeah, it's silly. Like there's some Jimmy and Stiggs to it, which we didn't do an instant reaction on that one. We were going to,
Not
but decided
not
not
worth
to
our
because
time.
we couldn't find a positive. But it just there's some stuff that's just like I said, a lot of the comedy hit, but some of it is just like okay, like you're beating a dead horse here. Come on, like the killer nuts, the bad guys, the villains. The one dude that just kept doing parkour everywhere. Like
That was aggravating.
I think it only pissed me off because it pissed me off so much. And 28 inches later, I was like, I I'm over parkour from now on. No more Power Ranger moves. It annoys me. Um,
What was the name of that movie again?
28 years later, what did I
Oh,
say
okay,
before? Um,
okay.
but I think that a lot of the comedy hit. It's just some of it didn't, and when it didn't, it really annoyed me. I found myself like, ugh. But that was wasn't as often as I was laughing, so that's good. Um, I don't want to beat it to death. Like I don't want to hammer it either, but the some of the effects, I thought the blood looked bad. A lot of the CG just looked awful, and I can forgive it because I'm sure it is very low budget. But I'd be lying if it didn't bother me some. So, yeah,
That's
don't.
fair.
And another the last negative that I'll touch on is I hate when movies establish something in the opening act and then never go back to it. And what I mean is the movie opens with Peter Dinklage narrating, but it did it one more time, like when we caught up to where the open was, I guess. But then, like I don't know, I would rather you not do that at all than do it and then not ever do it again. So I would have wanted to hear more Peter Dinklage narrating, like even if it's not until the final act, like the ending when it's in the hospital and everybody's happy, and he comes back over with a voiceover and says, "And that's the story of how I got my life back," or whatever, something to that effect. Because it annoyed me that they established the narration and then abandoned it.
Yeah, very fair. I'm just going to touch on the budget. I couldn't find the budget, excuse me, but the box office has made its opening weekend. As of right now, it's at almost $2.7 million, so that's not too bad. But I mean, like you mentioned though, the opening credits before it started, like it had Bloody Disgusting and Cineverse. That's
Mm.
I just read in the trivia that the reason it took so long for the movie to come out is they couldn't find a distributor. That's when Cineverse picked it up 2 years later almost. So
Wow.
it definitely had to have a low budget because I mean, no offense to the good people at Bloody Disgusting, but like they don't have Warner Brothers money or
Yeah.
Universal or nothing. They're putting out small independent horror movies. So
And you know, you said 2.7 million
almost 2.7.
almost.
Yep.
So the thing about that is too, it's getting limited showtimes.
Very
I mean,
limited.
I told you there was only two showings per day, and I'm pretty sure it's already gone from the theater I go to. So like, I think it was just a Friday through Wednesday thing. But it was getting two showings a day at 7:40 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. And so I mean that's 7:30 is that's a good hour. That's when most people I would say go to the movies. But for a low budget movie with no real promotion and two show times a day, 2 points. I think you'll take that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because I looked at my Regal app and the Lake City one is not showing it today. And AMC today only had one showing in Tallahassee and it was at 1 p.m. I'm looking at tomorrow. Maybe it's going to make it through Friday. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it's got very, very limited run times or show times, excuse me. They put The Conjuring in there and they just kicked everybody out.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
there's no showings tomorrow. So
Yeah,
Toxic Avenger's done, it looks like.
yeah. So I went to see The Conjuring today, and when I was looking at the app, it wasn't showing on there. So I wasn't looking for it, but I did scroll through, and I don't remember seeing it. Another thing that's a negative, not picking on this movie. It's just something that's annoying me with all movies. I am sick to death of every production company that's involved in a movie getting their little 5-second video before the movie starts. Like, I'm just tired of it. Family Guy, I think, had that bit where they thought the movie was starting, but it was just another production company, and it. I didn't realize how much it annoyed me until I went to see Darren Aronofsky's new movie Caught Stealing the other day. That's a major studio. They didn't show those little videos. Everyone that was involved in the production companies and distribution and all that, their names were shown in the opening credits. But the opening credits was a cool like little montage, and they were worked in kind of subtly. Please, for the love of God, do that. Like it wears me out.
Yeah, but these smaller studios, even if they chip in just a little bit, probably like, hey, I want a video.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like God.
the, like we want the exposure. Dustin, you got any final thoughts on Toxic Avenger? I think I rated I gave it a 2 on Letterboxd. Like, it was fine. I would rewatch it again if we ever wanted to review it, but I'm not going to act like I loved it. I didn't. I'm
Yeah,
not going to seek this out.
I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I'm not mad that I went to see it. Like,
Same.
and
Yeah.
like I said, it probably does come across as hypocritical because this is of the same ilk as Screamboat or those movies, or Jimmy and Stiggs, even those movies that I hate. It's just it was better. It was better. I actually was able to have fun with this one when I couldn't find an ounce of fun in either of those other two movies I just mentioned.
Jimmy and Sticks is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's up there. It's
Like, just
easily.
like I can appreciate it being made and it being like crowdsourced and all that, but nah, it was
I'd be
not
pissed
fun.
off if I donated money to help get that movie made, and that's the final product. That was the worst movie I've seen this year for sure. Anyway,
Yeah, it was terrible. Anywho, Toxic Avenger. Shout out, Dustin loves remakes. I know he was excited to see a remake. I'm just kidding.
hey, I didn't
But
see the
but
original, so it's fine.
yeah, yeah. and I like Dustin's always mentioned, remakes aren't bad if they do like a modern take on something. It's not just beat for beat, word for word, bar for bar, same thing over and over. So
Or a
shout
sequel
out,
40 years later.
yeah, like who likes those? Just kidding. I like some of them; they're fine. But anywho, go check it out if your theater is still showing it. I highly doubt it by the time we release this. Just that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Shout out to Bruce Almighty. Uh, they're pulling these little small studio movies out quick. They're just not giving them a fair chance, but it'll probably be on streaming within like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
probably to a month. Like this is one of those movies they'll throw on Fandango and Prime in like 2 weeks, probably. Well, any final thoughts? Like it was fine. Check it out if you want to. If you want something for, if you partake in the Devil's Lettuce edibles, pop one of them in. You'll have a good time with this movie.
I, I agree wholeheartedly.
But we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll be back with probably The Conjuring Last Rites as our next instant reaction. Appreciate y'all tuning in.